vowed unimaginable action. After putting the so far sacrosanct Indus Water Treaty in abeyance, sealing borders and asking all Pakistani nationals to leave, India is now mulling more actions. Priority is to ensure that economically the already weakened back of the Pakistan government needs to be broken further. Pakistan is not without friends though. From China to Turkey, several countries have made their statements or other gestures to show that in the event of a military conflict, they will stand by the rogue terrorist nation. India should know all of this all too well by now. But will the other big powers stay on India's side? That's the big question. Even amongst this all, Prime Minister shot off another warning. Read what you will between the lines. He said today that we have a lot to do and there is limited time. From mulling restrictions on exports via third countries to complete closure of airspace for Pakistani carriers, India has quite a few more economic, diplomatic options under review. Is it time to land another diplomatic strike then? We'll take that forward with our guests in just a bit. But as the diplomatic war continues, here's what transpired on ground today. In a fresh provocation, Pakistani army resorted to unprovoked firing across the line of control in areas near Kupwara and Baramulla, as well as the Akhnur sector. The Indian army responded in a measured and effective manner. Meanwhile, 4 counter-terrorism operations are underway in Kashmir amidst an intensified security crackdown across the region. 2 of the operations are a continuation of earlier encounters. Security presence has been significantly strengthened. Searches and combing operations are being conducted in densely forested and rural zones by units of Indian Army and Jammu and Kashmir Police. Sources have informed that fresh raids were conducted across the valley by the police. Furthermore, verification of non-locals, including labourers, students, employees currently present in Kashmir has been ordered. And Jammu and Kashmir government has ordered the closure of as many as 48 tourist destinations in the aftermath of the attack. Now, back-to-back meetings continue to take place in the national capital. The Prime Minister himself is being briefed by the Raksha Mantri, the NSA, the CDS and all 3 army chiefs. As we speak, this meeting is currently underway at 7 Lok Kalyan Marg, which is the Prime Minister's residence. As I mentioned, the top staff from the tri-services and of course the top leaders in government are in attendance. A high-level meeting was held at the Ministry of Home Affairs earlier as well, with Home Secretary Govind Mohan, Director Generals of Border Security Force, Assam Rifles and National Security Guard all in attendance, along with senior officials of Central Reserve Police Force and the Central Industrial Security Force. Tomorrow, a second round of the CCS meeting is to be held at the Prime Minister's residence in the morning. Following that, the Cabinet Committee on Economic Affairs will hold a meeting, and of course, as is the usual norm, on the Wednesday, Cabinet meeting is also scheduled. Meanwhile, a day after suspending 16 Pakistani YouTube channels, the government has suspended the official X account of Pakistani Defence Minister Khwaja Asif today as well. Now, hunt for the dastards of Pahalgam is on and forces are closing in. Jammu and Kashmir police have identified these following 3 as the masterminds of this attack. Adil Hussain Thokar was born in Anantnag's Guri, Bijbehara in 1992, while his associate Hashim Musa is a Lashkar affiliate. Ali Bhai, on the other hand, was born in Pakistan and had infiltrated into India. Adil Thokar joined terrorist ranks and exfiltrated to POK. Hashim Musa is expected to have carried out at least 3 to 4 attacks in the past on Indian soil. Ali Bhai is also a Lashkar affiliate, we're getting to know. Now, sources have told us that Adil Thokar received illegal arms training in Pakistan. Hashim Musa is said to have received army-level training in Pakistan. And Ali Bhai is also suspected to have been trained in Pakistan. So this is the link to Pakistan that we're talking about. Now, what is it that India can do and is mulling to do further diplomatically? Now, India is mulling shutting the airspace for Pakistani carriers. It's also considering restricting the export of electronics and e-commerce goods into Pakistan. Sources say the government is also currently assessing the potential cost impact on Indian exporters. The Department of Pharmaceuticals has requested the pharma export body to prepare a list of medicines and pharmaceutical products that are exported to Pakistan. The details have been sought from Pharma Excel, an arm that functions under the Ministry of Commerce and Industry. Lastly, India is also considering restricting export to Pakistan via third countries. Because remember, bilateral trade which is stopped is already negligible. A lot of goods up to $10 billion worth make it into Pakistan via third countries, including the Middle East, Singapore and more. So is it time for India to consider all of these options? Time to escalate the diplomatic strike, even as we just showed you the top military heads and the defense minister with the prime minister possibly considering a military action as well.
The whole world has heard Pakistan's Defence Minister Khwaja Asif admitting and confessing. This open confession surprises no one and exposes Pakistan as a rogue state fueling global terrorism and destabilizing the region. The world can no longer turn a blind eye.
हमारे पास समय सीमित है, लक्ष्य बड़े हैं।
Guests will be joining us in just a bit. First up, I want to go across to my colleague Akash Sharma, who's joining us from the Prime Minister's residence. The picture, of course, shows us all the individuals in attendance, the three army chiefs, CDS, NSA, Defence Minister, of course, and the Prime Minister himself. What more are you learning, Akash?
Right, so this was an important meeting ahead of the CCS meeting that is expected tomorrow, and you rightly pointed out all three service chiefs along with CDS, NSA, Raksha Mantri, were seen along with the Prime Minister. This is an important meeting, we know, for a reason, because of the kind of timing and because of this sort of situation that we are living in, nowadays. Also, Shivani, we have seen a number of comments where Raksha Mantri and in fact the Prime Minister has come out in public and said that, India will give a strong retaliatory, answer to the sort of attacks that have happened in Pahalgam. But this meeting, we still don't know as to what was the agenda, but, the picture is somewhere showing the file and the pen, with the service chiefs. So I'm assuming that there was something, related to operational preparedness only, and that's the reason why we had this important meeting ahead of the CCS that is expected tomorrow, Shivani.
So Akash, just to put this into perspective, tell us what the tri-services chiefs, the CDS, have been up to in preparation for this meeting.
Frankly speaking, Shivani, CDS has no, doesn't have sort of role in operations till now because we don't have integrated command.
Sure.
But yes, CDS is someone who has the Department of Military Affairs and also is someone who coordinates between the services. So assuming that CDS is someone, who is the point of contact in the military of, in the Department of Military Affairs, and that's the reason why we had CDS at Raksha Mantri Rajnath Singh's place. Then Raksha Mantri, met with Prime Minister, and today, along with Service Chief, CDS was also present.
So, what more are you learning in terms of, because there's all of this speculation going on as far as a kinetic military action is concerned, we're seeing a lot of movement supposedly and suggestively on the other side of the border. Is there anything you can tell us more of what India is doing in preparation for any eventuality, Akash?
So there are multiple developments that are happening simultaneously, Shivani. Since morning, we have been learning of the sort of actions that are taking place in South Kashmir and also south of Pir Panjal, that is Jammu. We know that a number of anti-terror operations have been ongoing, though Indian Army or Jammu Kashmir Police for that matter, is not telling anything about the sort of operations that have been ongoing. So possibly this meeting, was for some sort of discussions related to those anti-terror operations in Jammu and Kashmir. Also, as far as kinetic action is concerned, Shivani, something is going to come definitely, because we have a number of comments from, ministers, Raksha Mantri, Prime Minister for that matter. In fact, today Prime Minister has said that we have limited time and we have to execute a lot of action. And this is the reason why these meetings are also important. And as I mentioned earlier, Shivani, we have marathon meetings. Raksha Mantri was meeting Prime Minister for the 5th time since these attacks. Second CCS meeting is going to happen tomorrow. So a number of significant points are there, for the sort of discussions that they may have, in these meetings. And, CCS meeting is very important tomorrow then.
Yes, absolutely. Akash, will keep coming back to you for more as this meeting breaks. But I also want to go across to our guest joining us, Ashok Sajjanhar, former diplomat with us, Lieutenant General Shankar Prasad, former DG Infantry of the Indian Army, and Tarakata, former Director NSCS, all with us. I do thank you for your time. Lieutenant General, I'm coming to you first up. What do you read into this meeting?
Well, this meeting is a very important meeting for, and clearly states, you see, the first meeting which the Prime Minister had, or rather the first statement the Prime Minister made was, I think, on 23rd. The attack took place on 22nd, and the next next speech was given by the Prime Minister on the 23rd, somewhere in Bihar, where he had clearly laid down his mission, and he had said what exactly does he want to do. That's nearly a week from now. Today is 29th. This period of 5-6 days that has been available to all concerned with national security must have done their homework. Like the army chief was reported to have visited Kashmir, may have been to many other places as well. Everything doesn't get reported. Similarly, the other service chiefs must have gone and discussed their own issues with their own service personnel. So these 4-5 days, the armed forces personnel, the ministries, the foreign ministry, the economic ministry, the defense ministry, the national security advisor, the intelligence agencies, all must have done their work. And today the Prime Minister is asking them, what have you done in the last 5 days? What exactly do you see as things happening? What is your perception? What do you think of the enemy preparation? What do you think you can do? Some details of what work they have done in the last 5 days, the Prime Minister is taking stock of that. Importantly, as you mentioned, tomorrow is the CCS meeting.
Yes.
There, in the full CCS meeting, service chiefs will be required to make a presentation, I presume, of what are the options they've got. Important thing I want to make to you, Shabari, is this, that time right now is for Indian armed forces, particularly, not only Indian armed forces, actually for all the ministries of the government of India who participate in these operations, including the railways for that matter, economic ministries, commerce ministry, and all of them, foreign ministry, everybody. So they must have come out with plans. Now, we have to first, as far as the military is concerned, where I'd like to speak a little more, we must have done a detailed assessment of the Pakistan's capabilities, the Pakistan Armed Forces capabilities. That capabilities include all facets of it. What kind of covert operation they can undertake in India, what kind of trans-border activity they can initiate against India, what kind of redeployment of forces. We have a reasonably good idea of peacetime locations of all the military forces of the Pakistan military.
Can I come in?
How they move them.
Lieutenant General, I am going to articulate the question.
I was just saying.
Yes.
No, I was just going to say that the redeployment of Pakistan military must have taken place. We must have got information on that through signal intelligence. Various. You say again. Sorry, I interrupted you.
No, I'll just articulate the question that is possibly on the minds of every citizen. Not to rush anybody, and obviously not to create any pressure on the government or the military, but every citizen is asking or wondering how long before an action is taken. Aren't all of these plans already available? There are contingency plans already in place. Why is it taking so long if the government has already avowed military action?
You are absolutely correct. The Prime Minister has just said, he quoted just now, that I need to take action quickly. There's not much time. So action has to be speeded up. Certainly, it can't wait for weeks and weeks. It has to be done very quickly, as the Prime Minister just said, and you reported that. The point is this. We have to really assess the enemy capability. And actually what we do in the military as a part of academic teaching is, we always have an enemy syndicate, so to say. So somebody must be deputed to the task of saying, you are a Pakistan army chief, you are heading the Pakistan military, what are you going to do? And this syndicate is going to sit down and work, what are the options available to Pakistan in terms of army, the navy, the air force, and they would have also factored it into what the Indian government. So it's a war gaming that is taking place in the minds of the Pakistanis, which we are also trying to proceed. The point important is, if you know exactly what the enemy is planning and your appreciation comes true, then it is so much easier to make your own plans successful, obviously, because I know exactly what the enemy is doing, and enemy actually does that, then you know how to react to it and how to neutralize it. So this game of minds is going on right now. both in the Pakistan side and on Indian side, and our syndicate, which is called the enemy syndicate or the Red Land syndicate, must be working overtime to see as to exactly what's happening. What is the state of ammunition? What is the state of reserves of petrol, fuel? What is the state of spare parts? How many submarines are operational? How many aircrafts are operational? How many tanks are fit? What number of days of ammunition, tank ammunition have they got? What is the number of missiles they've got? How many aircraft can fly? What are the what do you call the surveillance equipment? They have AWACS. How many AWACS are up in the air? So all of that must have been factored. And
Yes,
therefore,
so
that gives a very
clearly-
good and clear picture of what the enemy is going to do.
Certainly, the military will give as clear a picture as the political leadership can get, and ultimately the decision has to be made by the political leadership of the day, when, how, what, all of that has to be approved by them. So let me bring in our other guests as well. Tara Karta, what do you think would be topmost in the mind of the Indian government? Given the reactions that are coming in from Pakistan, there's obviously the usual denial, the bravado, then a clampdown of sorts has been witnessed from some of their statements between yesterday and today. There's a lot of hectic phone calls being done to their potential supporters, partners, allies, whatever word you want to use. What do you think could be next? Because we have been also looking at not just military action, more diplomatic and economic action on the already weakened Pakistan economy.
Absolutely, Shivani. When you consider, I'm talking of 1990 costing of the 1971 war. You were talking of 27 crores a day. That's the kind of costs and a war comes through. So obviously the Prime Minister, who has the economy is foremost in his mind, he's going to be very, very aware of those costs, especially since you are not a defense producer, you're a defense importer. So your costs are very high. That I'm just saying, that doesn't mean you should not attack Pakistan. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying those are one of the foremost factors. Second thing is, that a bunch of countries have condemned the attack and so on and so forth. But with that also is a call to all concerned to back off from war, which is the usual thing that we see and which is what Pakistan wants. It's like a typical bully, you say, I'm going to hit you, I'm going to hit you, I'm going to hit you, and then you're waiting for someone to pull you back, which is what Pakistan is doing. Third is Pakistan's own fuel availability is extremely low.
Yes.
Their jet fuel is in very bad shape. They have issues. But fourth, finally, is what do you want out of this? If I were I would say I would want my country to unite on this, which is the most difficult thing to do because you are also going in for a lot of counter-terrorism operations inevitably. It can't be helped. You have to do that. But that is what they're forcing you to do. So it's a very tricky exercise. Economically, I think out of that 100 billion, nearly 60% is pharma. So pharma itself is going to raise costs. Indus Water Treaty, by April end, once that water starts trickling down, Pakistan farmers are going to be in grief. End of this month, as we are speaking now, the Kharif season has just started.
So do you believe when the Prime Minister said unimaginable, he's actually not just talking about a military action, he's actually talking about absolutely choking Pakistan, economically and otherwise?
I think he is, because military action is literally playing into their hands, and one is something, it's not unimaginable in that sense because we've done it before. So I'm assuming there's a lot more, and he's talking of something which is going to continue into the future. You're going to hunt down those terrorists. That's what he said.
Yes, hunt them down and continue ostracization of Pakistan in a manner that, you're going to break the back of the industry that they think they can perpetually run against India. But I will come to the global aspect of it as well. Does Pakistan already run that industry against India without any external support? I don't think so. When Asif Khwaja said that, they do this at the behest of the US, he wasn't technically wrong. They did do it at the behest of the US and the West for many, many years. Maybe not now. And they've got enough and more support even now. But before I go to Ashok Sajjanhar, Tara Kartak, very quickly, again, I articulate a question that is possibly on the minds of the citizens. The more time we take, don't we give Pakistan more time to prepare against a military action?
No, not really. Because you can only keep your missiles and everything on alert for a limited period of time. It has costs. Every time you put that on alert, that life of that system is going down. So the longer you wait, the more problematic it is. He can't back off. At the same time, he can't keep his systems on alert all the time. So it's a huge cost for him. Number two, I'm not sure if IMF will continue funding a state which is preparing to go to war. He's trying to get you to attack first, and we are not doing that. He
So-
attacked, he's the aggressor.
Well, Pakistan, certainly, I don't know if in this case they're going to be seen as being the first aggressor.
Well, they've already started on the line of control. They've already started small arms fire. I mean, there is the terrorist attack which took place from there.
Sure.
Everybody knows there's a whole, there's a UN report which talks about the number of terrorists which are in Pakistan, Pakistan backed. All that is open available data. So and if you look again, since you're coming to the globe, everybody's condemned the fact that this terrorism is unacceptable, including China. Of course, the second Chinese statement was that we understand that,
Yeah.
Pakistan has
They'll
done
come
lot.
to the aid of Pakistan if it comes to
Yeah.
its quote-unquote territorial sovereignty and all
Yeah,
of that.
but remember one thing. If China comes to the aid of Pakistan, China is going to underwrite its costs. Are they prepared to do that? So it's a question. Beijing is not very easy with its pockets. It will want to know what are the costs involved. If the CPEC breaks down, for example, if there's a war, everything is going to break down.
Okay.
Is China going to put the bill?
Let me bring in Ashok Sajjanar also. Thanks a lot for your patience, sir. What do you think could be the most appropriate diplomatic strike, which includes all kinds of trade options, industry, commerce, third country trade that we're looking at, airspace, all kinds of diplomatic offenses that are available and in our kitty? Ashok Sajjanar, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yes, I can hear you very well.
Yes, go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah. Basically what I was saying is that as far as our strike against Pakistan is concerned, it is not got to be, in my view, either or, that either you do this kinetic action or you take economic action or you go as far as the international area, the other countries are concerned, reach out to them, get their support, try to ostracize Pakistan. It has to be all of the above. And, that's what I would suggest, that, the fact that Mr. Doval has cancelled his visit to participate in the BRICS meeting in Brazil. External Affairs Minister has cancelled his visit to Brazil to participate in the BRICS meeting. They want to be here because anything that needs to be done, they have to be available here. It's not, that they can move themselves out of the scene. So I think that gives out a very clear signal that something very big is brewing. The second point I would like to make is, tomorrow we have not only the CCS meeting, we also have the meeting of the Cabinet Committee on Political Affairs. We also have the meeting of the Cabinet Committee on Economic Affairs. So I think the whole thing is really coming to a climax. It is coming to a crescendo, because today you have seen the meeting with the CDS, with the chiefs, defense services chiefs.
Home Ministry held a very high-level meeting as well today.
Also, yes, as far as the Home Secretary is concerned, he's had a meeting with all these, the CRPF and all the paramilitary forces. Yes. So I think at every level, things are being considered. And I think as far as the economic strike is concerned, that something as far as the Indus Waters Treaty is concerned. What I feel, having dealt with this issue, both with Pakistan as well as with Bangladesh, the real problem will start during the lean months, which are the winter months. Because as far as the summer months, which are the monsoon months, there is already abundance of water as far as the rivers are concerned. It is only from November, December up to April. That is when that is the lean season. And that is when the problems are really going to start. Okay. Of course, India will have to start building its own infrastructure in terms of better utilization of the water.
Absolutely.
Because we've not really been able to do that.
So it almost feels like, Ashok Sajjanar, that more economic and trade offensive is almost a no-brainer, right? absolutely nobody will object or can object if India was to tighten the screws on that front. The question then is, what happens and where do the chips fall, globally speaking, if there was a military conflict? What do you think?
Let me put it this way, Shivani. Since you posed this question, I do not think that an economic action of whatever nature is a substitute, is an alternative
Sure.
the kinetic military action. No, kinetic military action has to be there, but it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to go to war with Pakistan. I think what really the message that we are trying to send is, one message was through the surgical strike, second message was through Balakot. Right now, I think the message that has to go through is that our response has to be so totally disproportionate to what has happened within India, so that next time Pakistan
can I just
thinks
come
of
in?
this,
I know what you mean, and I know all experts have been saying this, but I don't see a never before seen kind of action happening, an unimaginable cost being imposed without it escalating into some sort of conflict.
no, some sort of conflict, all right, but I think it'll have to be calibrated. It'll have to be sort of kept under control, not going into a full-out war.
Sure,
because I think we also realize that a full-out war, even with a big country like Russia and another small country like Ukraine, I think it's very difficult to really project and accurately specify as to what is going to be the end of that. So I don't think we really want to, and our focus is, as far as Prime Minister is concerned, our focus is economic development. We don't want to, veer off that to a very significant extent.
Sure. But if you do something which sets the costs to a level where Pakistan is going to break its behavior, break its pattern of behavior, then I don't see a scenario where they don't respond either. So we have to be both mentally and otherwise prepared for the fact that raising it to that level where you want to break the pattern from Pakistan, this suicidal country that we have next to us, is not going to come without its own cost. But yes, Lieutenant General, you've been raising your finger. Please go ahead.
No, I just wanted to say one thing, that don't think no action has taken place already. A lot of action is taking place already in the last couple of days. The line of control is active. All the terrorist camps or the launching pads that may have been on the line of control have been disturbed. They must have vacated and run away or shifted their positions. A very serious combing operation is going on inside the line of control. A number of terrorists have been caught and supporters have been caught. So enough action has taken place on the line of control and on our side of the line of control. Let us see where the immediate targets are. The immediate targets are located at Ravlawar. That also must be very much under consideration. And the various headquarters of the LET, Jaish-e-Mohammed, ISI headquarters, etc., which I don't want to go into detail. But I just wanted to make a point that yes, some military action is already on the way, and that is the one which is going to have very important effect in giving us some launch pads. One important point is, of course, the psychological operations, which must be also going on. Covert operations may have started somewhere, who knows. And the next point is this, that in the 71 war, if you recall, the war was not started by India. The war was started by Pakistan on the 6th or 7th of December, when they first flew the sorties into that area. That is when Indian government, Indian military reacted. So it is not that. Even in Bangladesh liberation, the Indian army was preparing for it for a long time. But the final acts, the final day of the D-Day was only when the Pakistanis came with the aircrafts here. Then we reacted. So we can always create a situation, if that be so, I'm not saying that is, I'm just only quoting a historical example, that you can make the enemy act in desperation, and then you can say, he is the aggressor, not me. But that may not be required this time because the situation is so different.
I
just wanted to recall what happened in 71 war.
No, I get what your point is. I get. Final word very quickly, Tarakarta. Again, where do you think the chips will fall if there was a conflict? Who will come to India's support, if not outright aid? And how much support will Pakistan get?
The first thing is not when you go into war. The first thing is to understand how you'll come out of it. That is the most important thing. Before you go into war, you have to decide, this is my objective and I'm coming out. Because wars can be very tricky things, as you can see in Ukraine.
Yes.
Right? Number two is, on the basis of your national security interest, you will go ahead expecting that nobody is going to come to your help. That will be the assumption. It is a different thing that there will be quiet assistance in terms of your, your missiles, the kind of arms that you need. There will be. I mean, I don't want to specify those countries, but we can expect that.
Okay.
But finally, the question is, what is your objective? If your objective is to stop terrorism completely in Pakistan, there is only one way, and that is you have to denuclearize it. Pakistan's terrorism started after it got nuclear weapons. Before that, it didn't do anything.
So what's the plan on that?
There are many ways of doing that. That is the thing. That is how to work towards it. One is, of course, you have to, I think, this is strictly my opinion, at least start by declaring it a terrorist state. Surely that is something you can do, and then push that further as you go, because the message should go, this is the dangerous state with nuclear weapons. And going forward, there are, other ways of doing it. But that is the central thing. As long as Pakistan has nuclear weapons, people will start saying, mediate, because that's what you're hearing. Everyone is saying, please stop, back off, these are nuclear weapon states. Right. You get where I'm going?
Absolutely. If the world had some solidarity on that issue, I think people would have already recognized that this is a terrorist state.
In South Africa.
There are, of course, regional geopolitical pushes and pulls that make sure that Pakistan even has some support in the world right now. But I do get what you're saying. I do thank all of our experts for joining us. Remember, it's not just about how the world looks at it. It's also about how Indians, all of us, are looking at it. And that is my second debate. Just a sheer ugly political narrative that has broken out a week into the Pahalgam terror attacks. But before we go to that, take a look at this report, how the terror attack has left locals, tourists scared alike.
मैं इस वक्त कश्मीर के उड़ी इलाके में हूं। हालांकि मैं इस वक्त उड़ी मार्केट में हूं, लेकिन उड़ी के इर्द गिर्द काफ़ी सारे ऐसे गांव हैं जो बिल्कुल लाइन ऑफ कंट्रोल पर हैं। यहां पर बहुत ज़्यादा तनाव देखा जा रहा है, क्योंकि लोगों को लग रहा है कि कभी भी भारत की तरफ से पाकिस्तान पे अटैक किया जा सकता है। हालांकि पाकिस्तान में जितने भी लीडर्स हैं उनको भी लग रहा है कि भारत की तरफ से अटैक किया जा सकता है। ख्वाजा आसिफ भी मानते हैं कि भारत की तरफ से कभी भी अटैक किया जा सकता है। खासतौर से उन्होंने अपने एक इंटरव्यू में कहा कि 3-4 दिन क्रूशल हो सकते हैं उनके लिए, हो सकता है 3-4 दिन में जंग छिड़े। तनाव क्या तनाव है? तनाव है क्या?
तनाव है।
क्या लग रहा है?
ये होना नहीं चाहिए, दोनों मुल्कों के अंदर ये चीज़ होनी नहीं चाहिए जो इस वक्त है।
पहलगाम का अटैक भी नहीं होना चाहिए।
नहीं होना चाहिए था, ये नाजायज़ चीज़ है, ये कोई जायज़ हुआ नहीं है, अच्छा नहीं हुआ। ये तो बहुत दुख की बात है।
भारत की तरफ से कहा जा रहा है कि पाकिस्तान पे हमला कभी भी हो सकता है। पाकिस्तान को भी लग रहा है कि भारत की तरफ से हमला किया जा सकता है। तो आप क्या समझते हैं, क्योंकि आप उस जगह पर हैं जो लाइन ऑफ कंट्रोल के एरियाज हैं इर्द गिर्द, जब भी कोई शेलिंग होती है तो आर पार शेलिंग होती है, लोग मुतासिर होते हैं। अभी आप घर में जाकर क्या सोचते हैं, रात के दौरान क्या सोच रहे थे? तनाव है?
हमें तो ये लगता है कि पता नहीं कब क्या होने वाला है, ये लगता है। लेकिन अब क्या होगा क्या पता, वो तो पता ऊपर वाले को होगा, नहीं होगा वो दूसरी
होगा क्या किसी को नहीं मालूम, हमको भी नहीं मालूम, लेकिन ऐसा सब कह रहे हैं कुछ होगा।
लेकिन होगा।
आप बताइए क्या लग रहा है, क्या माहौल है इस पूरे इलाके में? अभी
देखिए, अभी यहाँ पे दहशत का माहौल है और एक अफरा तफरी सी है, क्योंकि LOC है यहाँ पे। आपको पता है जब फायर होता है तो एटलरी होती है। हमने बहुत सी जानें यहाँ खोई हैं, तो बहुत से नौजवान हमारे यहाँ पे जो हैं वो शहीद हुए हैं। तो लोगों के अंदर डर है, क्योंकि सेफ्टी नहीं है, बैंकर्स नहीं है। 1-2% बैंकर हो सकते हैं, 98% बैंकर्स नहीं है। तो यहाँ का हालात जो है आपको पता है सर, बहुत नाजुक हालात है इस वक्त।
यानी अभी सब लोग ये सोच रहे हैं कि आगे क्या होगा, किसी को मालूम नहीं।
हाँ, होगा, यही सोच रहे हैं कि क्या होगा। तो बहुत परेशान हाल में लोग, क्योंकि लड़ाई हो सकती है और नहीं भी हो सकती है, तो सरकार तक डिपेंड करता है कि क्या होगा।
Well, even as the entire country is anticipating some action further on Pakistan, and the country is trying to come together to stay resilient against the tactics used by terrorists to terrorize the entire country. Why do we call them terrorists? Exactly for this reason, because they want to terrorize you into submission and into internal battles. Now, amidst all of this, Congress's stand or attack against the Prime Minister has come under fire. A day after the party high command issued gag orders and diktats, instructing its motor-mouth leaders to not make any off-the-cuff comments, it countered itself by posting a picture of a headless Prime Minister and questioning his alleged absence. The BJP was quick to hit back, from firing a Lashkar-e-Congress jibe to attacking Congress for parroting Pakistan's sentiments. The BJP is also not letting it go. Countering its gag order with the headless poster isn't the only instance that has come to light when the Congress is seeming confused about what it really wants to do. A little earlier, it was Karnataka Chief Minister Siddaramaiah who first said war wasn't an option, then took a U-turn saying that if war was inevitable, it must happen. The U-turn, however, was fueled by massive backlash. A senior party leader, Saifuddin Soz, seems to be on a pro-Pakistan bandwagon a day after he said we must trust Pakistan when it claims it has no role to play in the Pahalgam attack. He has now said India and Pakistan must resume talks. Strikingly, this comes a day after the party high command asked its leaders to stand by the country. Karnataka Minister Dinesh Gundu Rao has accused Prime Minister of using the terror attack in Pahalgam to gain political mileage in Bihar. This also a day after the High Command asked its leaders to support the government at this hour. Congress leader Pramod Tiwari claimed that Pahalgam was the result of intel failure. Own party leader Shashi Tharoor, remember, was the one to say that no country can have 100% foolproof intelligence. It's not only about leaders. The High Command itself couldn't stay committed to its own decision even after 24 hours, and it seems it has backfired. So take a look at some of the reactions that has come into that headless Prime Minister poster. BJP's IT cell chief Amit Malviya says the Congress leaves little doubt with its use of Sar Tan Se Juda imagery. This is not merely a political statement, it is a dog whistle aimed at its Muslim vote bank and a veiled incitement against the Prime Minister. We also have some other reactions that were given by BJP's official X handle, which reads that Congress flaunts a headless kurta to echo the extremist Sar Tan Se Juda slogan, exposing its continuous slide into Muslim League 2.0. Netizens were also outraged. Major General Kakkar's post reads, "No wonder the nation has rejected Congress, Rahul Gandhi and his cronies in every election. These wannabes need to learn to respect to gain respect. Their cheap antics only make them more hated amongst the masses." You've got another ex-user, Akhilesh Mishra, who said Congress wants a special session of Parliament. This is not some random person posting which can be passed off as personal view. This is official handle of Congress. This is what Congress is messaging, that they are one with the deepest fantasies of terrorists. So did the Congress social media handles get it horribly wrong, not just with the imagery, but also the critique of the Prime Minister of the country at this hour? He's, after all, India's Prime Minister. So is this pure critique politically allowed, or has this come across as absolutely tone deaf?
तो इनको बाकायदा आपस में गुफ्तगू शनीद करनी चाहिए और हमेशा जिस पर इख्तिलाफ है राय का, उसको बातचीत के जरिए हल करे, चाहे हालात कुछ भी हो।
बीजेपी इधर उधर न करे। कभी कांग्रेस का किसी नेता का बयान आ जाता है तो बहाने न खोजे।
Take the parliament into confidence and we demonstrate that we are one and we are united and we have solidarity.
ये पता लगाने में ही कठिनाई होती है कभी कभी कि ये समाजवादी पार्टी के नेता बयान दे रहे हैं या कोई पाकिस्तान का प्रवक्ता बयान दे रहा है।
In this dastardly terrorist attack, the Congress party stands with Pakistan and not with their own nation, Bharat, India.
Jasmine Sandhavalia is spokesperson of the BJP. Srinivas Reddy Kumbam is from the Congress party. Srinivas, I begin with you. This is not the first time, particularly when it comes to matters of national integrity and standing against terrorism. It seems the Congress party repeatedly shows its inability to just plainly read the room. Do you really think a poster like this, such a graphic poster of your own Prime Minister right now, is the right imagery?
First of all, I would like to condemn the statement because nowhere in this poster is the Prime Minister's name there, nor his photo there. It is no way connected with the Prime Minister. If the BJP
Come on,
feels
Srinivas,
that
come on,
Prime
once
Minister
again.
is, they are also feeling.
Come on, Srinivas. Mr. Reddy, you cannot begin
it's
with
no-
an argument like
is
this.
the Prime
Come on.
Minister's
Are we?
name- is the Prime Minister's
Are you
name
saying
over
the
there?
entire country
Or
is a
it-
fool that hasn't really understood the message? This is clearly the Prime Minister's image from which his face has been removed.
Nobody is saying it is not the face of the Prime Minister. Is the name of the Prime Minister there anywhere?
So what does it mean when the tweet said that you are gayab at this crucial hour? Who are you talking about?
We are not talking. What the Congress party is trying to say is that when the crucial meeting was called for, they probably BJP is feeling that their Prime Minister is gayab at many of these events and they are taking everything
First of
into
all,
this.
Mr. Reddy,
But-
is it about the Prime Minister or is it not about the Prime Minister? Come on, if you stand by this tweet, which is by, mind you, not deleted till now. So I reckon the Congress party
we are
stands
not
by this tweet.
Whatever this
If this is
poster
about the
which has
Prime
been-
Minister, if
whatever
you
the poster-
stand by it, please answer my question. Do you think this is the imagery and the message the country welcomes right now? Are you winning over any citizens of
No.
this country?
What the Congress party has very clearly stated in its, the Congress working committee has very clearly stated that it stands with the Bharatiya Janata Party. It stands with the ruling party. The very resolution of the Congress party is here. And we have very clearly stated that the Congress party is with the government on this. The country comes first. Everything is like we should be united.
So
But
why
here
is
the
it
case
so
where,
difficult to accept?
This has been taken out of proportion.
Mr. Reddy, yes, we also acknowledged and feted the response of the Congress party in the first few days when the entire country came together to say no politics at this hour, we will stand by the government.
Even now the Congress party.
How can you
even
say
now
that?
The Congress party stands by
I'm
its word.
sorry, you cannot have
we-
10 of your leaders make statements which are questioning both the government
The Congress
intent
party has
and the
issued a
action.
statement to that effect that
Then how did this social media
the,
post happen?
Congress
How is
party
this still
president
up?
as well as the leader of opposition.
Mr. Reddy, I don't want to speak over you, but both the things you're saying don't make any sense. I'm sorry to say. You cannot say we are with the government and then
Congress
also
party
attack
and
the
the-
Prime Minister with a photo like this.
We have very clearly stated we are with the government.
Oh God.
And this is a very important issue. The Congress party stands by its word. Our leader of opposition, our
Why
party
not pull
president
up
have
who's
very,
responsible
very
for this
clear-
tweet? This is clearly about the Prime Minister. If you feel so strongly about standing together with the government, please display it with action. You cannot let this slide and also say we are with the government.
We are definitely with the government. We have called, we have...
I don't know what to say.
Definitely there is a
Mr.
question which
Reddy,
is
I
going on in
sympathize
everybody's
with you.
mind.
There's no answer.
Mr.
Let
Reddy,
me-
I
let me
sympathize
tell
with
you.
you. I know you're in a
Let me
difficult
come
position.
back.
No, one second. I gave you enough time. Jasmine, I sympathize with him. This is clearly indefensible. Indefensible. While you want to maintain the line that you are with the government, please, both the twains shall not meet. Either you are here or you're here.
We definitely... not
Mr.
only
Reddy,
us,
let
everybody
Jasmine
the
come
country
in.
is-
Let Jasmine come in.
Well, let me say something that these are very, very fragile times. And Congress party has totally abandoned shamelessly and is indulging in cheap politics. And if only Congress party would understand that it is the nation and the nation's sovereignty which has to be thought and which is being thought about by every Indian citizen in this country. And this has backlashed at them. They are not understanding that they have done a harakiri. The Prime Minister is the leader of this country, and every Indian citizen cutting across any religion is standing committedly by him. These are very fragile times. And unfortunately, the Congress has lack of leadership, lack of integrity, lack of vision, and lack of commitment towards nationalism. And I really wish that the Congress party president needs to apologize to the nation for what he has done, for what his party has done. This is totally not
Mr.
done.
Reddy.
And also remember one thing: the mood of the country is such that after the Article 370 was abrogated in 2019, this is the first time that in Srinagar and in the entire Kashmir Valley, every Muslim has come out and protested against this massacre and raised slogans against Pakistan. So the mood of the nation is that we are hurting. So Congress does not need to hurt itself. To hurt us
I don't
more.
know why the
And this is
Congress
totally
invites
cheap
this kind of
politics.
scrutiny. And Mr. Reddy, even if you're, I don't know, you want to live in denial where you want to pretend like this poster does not exist, hasn't been, put out from the official handle of the Congress party and has existed for now 24 hours almost. You want to just keep reminding of the official statement of the Congress party. But let me remind you, there are leaders, the laughter leaders who are making statements that are completely contradictory to the own Congress's diktat to its leaders, questioning whether Indus Water Treaty has been stopped only for some political drama to get brownie points or to impress people, talking about talks with Pakistan, talking about whether they needed to take any action as far as the diplomatic action is concerned. Their former partners and overall, the umbrella that exists in Jammu and Kashmir parties, they will question all the action that has been taken against Pakistani nationals. I just don't understand what's going on.
The Congress party has already distanced itself from the remarks made by most of the leaders, and what the AICC office bearers who are there, they are very clearly stated that those are the personal remarks made by some of them. The Congress party distances itself, and here, whatever AICC office bearers and the party president and the leader of opposition have stated, as well as the Congress Working Committee resolution which is there, is definitely
Mr. Reddy, I don't understand.
And it has never changed.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. It has never changed. Why is the okay? Fair enough. Why is the Congress party finding it so difficult to rein in its own leaders? Why? Why are you finding it so difficult?
Everybody has their opinion. In a democracy, what happens?
This is the Congress's official Twitter handle. This is not about individuals. You have no sanctity of your own X handle.
It is not I'm not talking about the sanctity of the X handle or whatever. What I am talking about is the role of the Prime Minister. Prime Minister was supposed to be in the all-party meeting.
No, he's not supposed to be in all-party meeting. Where are you getting this from? Where are you getting this from? Yes. The Prime Minister does not head all-party meeting.
And the Prime Minister, who had cut short his visit from Saudi Arabia, had landed in New Delhi.
Yes.
And from there he has got straight to Bihar to address the election rally, but rather than coming to the all-party meeting over here.
No, the all-party meeting, even after the last few attacks from Pakistan, were not headed by the Prime Minister. You're in opposition. You can't dictate to the government how they do their business. I'm sorry. And just because you don't like the fact that the Prime Minister is not there in the all-party meeting, you're going to post a headless picture of the Indian Prime Minister at this sensitive hour. I'm not understanding, Jasmine. There is a thing called just understanding the mood of the country, reading the room. Also, I don't understand why quote your Central Committee statement or come and make a statement saying we don't believe in this line of questioning by our own leaders. Does the Congress party not understand the power of social media? Do they not understand that this poster would have reached everyone in this country today?
You know what is shameful is that because of this poster, a former minister of Pakistan, Mr. Fahid Ahmed Chaudhry, has retweeted and written something so obnoxious and derogatory for our Prime Minister. And when Mr. Reddy, who's pushed to the wall today, has no words to really protect his party, he has to understand that we have one of the most proactive Prime Ministers that a nation can have at this junction of time. These are very fragile times, and I would really advise Mr. Reddy and his party that we need to stand united. Look at what Mr. Omar Abdullah's extraordinary speech yesterday when he said that it shames him. He had no words to console the families. And I think Mr. Omar Abdullah, from a politician, transferred himself into a statesman. And what has Congress done to itself? And I think they are indulging in very petty, very, very petty politics.
See,
and they
only
really
one of
need
these
to
things
think.
can be true. Either this has sanction of the Congress leadership
Of course it has.
to play
It
both the
has.
good cop and the bad cop. From one end, you will say, oh no, we don't believe in this, but yes, let our other arms and branches do what they need to do on social media. Or the other reality is, Mr. Reddy, that the left hand doesn't know what the right hand is doing, and the leadership is clueless. Only one of these two can be possible.
As far as the Congress party is concerned, as far as the AICC and the CWC is concerned, we are with the government. The Congress is with the government in this hour. It is a time for the country to be together here.
And what does this
This
poster
is not
say?
something.
This poster is not about PM. The PM didn't come to the all-party meeting. AICC said this. CWC said this. But you're not addressing what the social media handle of the Congress party says.
Yes.
I'm not understanding. Does the leadership of the Congress party understand the messaging,
this is
how
the
people
report.
react to it? I think even the staunch supporters of the Congress party today are finding it hard to justify this poster. I'm yet to hear anybody, anybody who can say at this moment this poster is justified. Why? Because you think the Prime Minister should have been in the all-party meeting and he wasn't? Just for that reason? I'm going to leave it to the better. No. Mr. Reddy, you've said, you're saying the same thing. I am not, you have to understand that when somebody poses this question, it is actually genuine, we are befuddled as to what the Congress is doing. Because the first few days, we acknowledged and encouraged the reaction from the Congress party as the leading opposition party on what they had said as far as the atmosphere in the country was concerned and what the Indian polity should be doing. We're getting some more responses precisely on this poster. Now, Supriya Shrinate is the head of the social media wing of the Congress party, and she is saying reportedly, and I quote, lot of poison in BJP's mind that they could see only Sar Tan Se Juda in this poster. Congress poster was inspired from a film named Gayab. Well, this is not a new justification. Already some Twitter handles sympathetic to the Congress party have put out exactly this justification. Jasmine, do you want to respond to this? This is not Sar Tan Se Juda. This has been inspired by a movie. It could be inspired by the greatest box office. It could be inspired by the greatest box office success of 2025. It doesn't matter. Look at the message it's sent to the public.
It is pathetic. It is total lack of sagaciousness. It is total lack of wisdom and maturity by Congress. And now they're running like, headless chickens. They could not understand the mood of the people of this country. Every Indian, the Congress party has to understand is standing united for the sovereignty of this nation and stand committed with the Prime Minister of this country.
I think there's also an attempt to suggest, quite like Mr. Reddy was doing. One second, Mr. Reddy, one second. I think quite like what you were suggesting. I think Mr. Supriya Shrinate is also saying, does BJP believe PM is Gayab when tragedy comes? So I think there is an attempt now to wash their hands off it without acknowledging the mistake, without taking it down, to suggest, oh, we're not talking about the Prime Minister. Who's going to be fooled by this, Mr. Reddy?
They're only fooling themselves.
There's nothing to be.
I've run out of time. I've run out of time. Mr. Reddy, I sympathize with you. I really do. But it's for the Congress leadership to think what is the messaging that they're sending to the entire country and the world. Thanks a lot for watching Plain Speak. The Right Stand is coming up on the other side.
Gopal advised.
India's action against Pakistan is going to go on the offensive further. India will be stopping the import from Pakistan through third countries. So that is what we had already spoken to you about, that this is an impending thing that is going to happen, and now there is a confirmation on that very news break that we brought to you on CNN News 18 that all imports that Pakistan is going to do and is been doing as far as Indian products are concerned through third channels like countries like Sri Lanka, UAE and Singapore for that matter, that stands stopped. So no imports of Indian goods will be allowed into Pakistan. Whether it is as it is directly through India is an old story. It no longer happens. Very little trade between India and Pakistan. But even through third countries like UAE, Sri Lanka and Singapore, that right now stands stop. India is working out the deal with these three nations so that any Indian good does not arrive in Pakistan through these channels. An important update. Pallavi has all of these details. Pallavi, we have been talking about this, that this is a possible move that India is considering. This is going to further cripple the Pakistan economy, but India needs to make the move when it is about these three pointed countries. We're talking about Sri Lanka, we're talking about UAE and also Singapore. I believe these are the three countries because of which Indian goods arrive in Pakistan. Just tell us more about this.
That's right. So what we are picking up from our top government sources is that it's going to be an all-out economic war also against Pakistan, apart from mounting a strong military action against it. And what you do is that Pakistan is something whose economy is in dire straits. It depends heavily as far as its imports are concerned. And to talk specifically about India, it depends a lot on imports from India in the realm of pharmaceuticals, whether it is in the realm of sugar, fruits, medicines, drugs, fertilizers, all of these factors. Now there is a lot of direct trade which was taking place between India and Pakistan, but there was also alternative routes which were often used for the goods to land in Pakistan or for goods from Pakistan to land in India. Dubai also being one of them, Singapore, then of course Sri Lanka. These are other countries through which that route is of course was often used. What we are picking up from way of top government sources is a two-pronged attack. One, these routes are now going to be monitored so that there is no other way goods from Pakistan can land on Indian soil, and similarly our goods will of course not go to them. Second, there are large number of people in the trading community, that's exporters and importers, all of them have also been sounded out that you are not going to be using any platform or any such route where you are going to be benefiting Pakistan economically. That is also another crackdown which is going to come in from the government. So not essentially trying to isolate Pakistan and ensure that the people of Pakistan pay the price for the rogue activities of those who are in power over there.
So, Pallavi, that essentially means that that entire air cargo route that has been taken by Pakistan to import these products into their country, that stands shut as well?
Shutting the airspace completely from Pakistan to India, that is something which is also in the realm of much discussion. But certainly when we talk about stopping the trade routes, any kind of indirect bringing in of goods and into Pakistan and out of Pakistan, obviously this is also the route which is going to be tracked, which is going to be monitored, and that is where this kind of an import is completely going to be stopped. I'm going to give you a very quick example which was given to us by a senior government official. Is, for example, Dubai is a very popular route. There are lots of Pakistani apparel which are very popular in India, which actually comes in through a route of Dubai. That is something which we are not going to be allowing anymore. You know, Pakistan often sends it to Dubai. From Dubai, it lands into India. Now we are going to see the place of origin of these products from Dubai into India. If it is from Pakistan or into Pakistan, both of them are going to be stopped. So not that, again, the same point which I was making is that inclusivity and isolation of Pakistan is something economically which the Indian government is going to ensure.
Also, Pallavi, what are the kind of products that stand affected because of this decision by the Indian authorities?
Well, I mean, Pakistan depends a lot on India as far as sugar, pharmaceutical, fertilizers, medicines, drugs, all of that is concerned. Vegetables, fruits, some high quality of them. That is also what they depend on. That is also something which is now going to be controlled, and this is how we hope to cripple Pakistan, where unfortunately, fortunately, it's the people who are going to have to pay the price of it. Already Pakistan goes through a lot of food problems. There is a problem of high inflation as well. When you cut off these kind of lifelines, you are going to be hurting people in Pakistan, and that is exactly the entire idea or strategy behind the government of India's stand.
Right, Pallavi, thank you so much for that information. India's action against Pakistan is going to go on the offensive further. India will be stopping the import from Pakistan through third countries. So that is what we had already spoken to you about, that this is an impending thing that is going to happen, and now there is a confirmation on that very news break that we brought to you on CNN News 18 that all imports that Pakistan is going to do and is been doing as far as Indian products are concerned through third channels like
Namaste, Jai Hind and welcome to this edition of The Right Stand. I am Anand Narasimhan. Now, in the aftermath of the Pahalgam terror attack, Bharat is ramping up pressure against Pakistan. Ahead of the crucial Cabinet Committee meeting Cabinet Committee on Security meeting on Wednesday, ahead of the Cabinet meeting, there was a high-level security meeting that was presided by the Prime Minister at 7 Lok Kalyan Marg. That meeting has just gotten over. Raksha Mantri Rajnath Singh was present. The Tri-Services Chiefs were present. The CDS was also present in this meeting that lasted for nearly about an hour, if not more. And very clearly, there have been some important conversations. The NSA Ajit Doval also present. The Prime Minister certainly not a gayab, as being alleged by the opposition. 1 week after the Pahalgam terror attack, as the nation is seething with anger, Prime Minister mulling every moment on a hard-hitting counter at the backers of these terrorists. That's the enemy on the other side of the border. Congress stooping to perhaps a new low. The brevity, is it lost in a post like this? The Congress's Ghayab or missing poster aimed to target Prime Minister Narendra Modi over the Pahalgam terror attack, backfiring hours after the party released this on its social media handles. Now, in an earlier address during the day, the Prime Minister made a subtle message. There was perhaps the effort or intent to leave it to the listener to read between the lines on time being limited and the goal being a big one. Samay kam hai, lakshya bada hai. He was talking about